All right, hello, welcome everyone. Let me just make sure that the audio is going through. All right, audio is going through. Thanks, guys, for joining me, whoever is here. And if you are hearing me and if you guys are watching, please let me know who you are. Leave a comment down below in the Facebook Live or on the YouTube chat. Hit that live chat button and let me know who you are. Let me know who's watching. Let me know where you're watching from. We'd love to connect with you, and I would love to do any type of live Q&A. Let me transition my picture over here. And for those of you joining me for the first time, I'm trying to do this Monday through Friday, 12 p.m. And I say try because some of you guys know that I've missed a couple days, and the reason why I missed is because this has been tough. Taylor, what's up, man? I see you. Man, I hope you and your wife and your new baby are safe and healthy. I think you're in Texas, right? I forgot if you were in Texas or not. But man, I see all your gaming stuff and your worship, and I hope you're still rocking out on that electric guitar. Taylor was used to be actually one of my students when I used to teach at Biola. And so, man, Taylor, stay safe, stay healthy, my friend, and take care of your wife and baby. Thanks for watching. And he said, yes, sir, the great state of Texas. All right. Texas, I've been there once. I need to go there more often once this all dies down. And so I hope you're enjoying all that good barbecue out there, my brother. Good barbecue. Again, guys, for those of you watching, I try to do this because just to connect with the live pastor, and of course, just to share some truth and encouragement with you guys. And just to finish on my last thought, I know sometimes I miss a couple of days because it's been rough for me too these last couple of weeks. My family's been sick, and other projects have come up with my church. I'm a pastor at a church, and it's just difficult. So I apologize, but I'm trying to do this Monday through Friday. And today, as the title says, we're talking about the largest problem, one of the largest problems. You know, I'm not going to try to make this sound like this is more difficult than um, the financial crisis and people losing jobs, and of course, the actual virus itself because of people who are struggling with it. But I think one of the largest problems and trials that everyone is experiencing. Yes, those are my kids. That's my baby crying in the background. Don't worry, guys. You're not going crazy. I'm here at home. I'm in my living room. One of the largest problems, especially for Generation Z, I think Generation Z is struggling with this a lot, but they're not the only ones. Anyone, young and old, is struggling with this is control. Control is probably one of the largest trials, one of the largest kind of struggles and difficulties that people are having a hard time cope with right now. If you guys missed it last night, I did an interview with Pastor Kevin Yee. He is the youth pastor, but actually kind of transitioning into college and adults at his church. And he talked about this, and I wanted to kind of reiterate this. He talked about how control is something that, what's up, Ira? I see you, my brother Ira, my brother from Maine, all the way on the East Coast. I hope you're doing well. Take care of your 4 kids and your wife. Vivian, hello. Oh my gosh, Vivian, I hope you are safe and healthy. Vivian, fellow USC alumnus, one of the smartest, literally one of the smartest people I've ever known, lawyer out in here in California. I hope you're safe and healthy. But Kevin, my friend Kevin, was talking about how control is probably something that a lot of his high school students are struggling with right now. Why is control one of the hardest trials right now? Well, let's think about it. We're stuck at home, we're in quarantine, and everything is a little bit out of control, a little bit, right? The virus, it's more questions than answers. It's such a state of unknown. Let me tell you guys something that's so frustrating, but really explains how hard this lack of control is. We got this COVID-19 test back last week, and it says that you're negative, but in the test it says, but you can still be positive because our test is a little bit inconclusive. So self-quarantine for 14 days. What's up with that, man? Who wants to hear a test like that? Who wants to hear results like that? It's just no one wants to hear something like. Imagine you applying to a school, grad school, and says, Congratulations, you got accepted, but you could actually be not accepted later on. So keep on awaiting your status, whether you got into college or not." This is ridiculous, right? And so, on one sense, we're happy that's negative, but on another sense, it kind of leaves us so dissatisfied, right? Um, or unsatisfied, right? That's the correct word. Hearing that, and yeah, Taylor, it's not reassuring at all, right? And so we are struggling right now with not being in control. Um, Jobs, money, our health. Um, is the economy going to open back up? But let's even go on a social level. And this is where I think Generation Z is really struggling with. But again, it's not just Gen Z. I think everyone is struggling with this. But we're so out of control right now, and we're not in control. Um, Social media was a place where people really felt like they were in control of their lives. Why? Because everyone on social media tries to reveal the best picture, the best video, the best kind of life so that everyone can see. No one likes to post pictures of themselves waking up early in the morning. And no one likes to post pictures of themselves when they don't have makeup on. No one likes to post pictures of themselves getting fifth place. No, we're only going to show first place pictures, first place videos. We're only going to show, what's up, Peter? I see you. I hope you and your wife and dog are all safe and healthy. I think you guys just had a baby, right? Man, I hope you guys are all healthy. But no one likes to show that stuff. We all like to show first place, our best pictures on social media. But now what do we got? We're just stuck at home now, and we're not in control anymore. We can't go out to the nice places and take pictures in front of like these really nice coffee shops and castles and show everyone how beautiful we are, or how ballin' we are, because we like to find a Ferrari, pretend like it's ours, and take a picture of it. We like to show all these filters. No one wants to show your real face, so we got to put the beautification filter on, and we got to show the Amaro filter on Instagram, or the X Pro 2, or Hudson, or whatever filter you like to use. We love being in control, especially with social media. And I think, as my friend Kevin was saying last night, not having that control is really difficult. Not being in control of what I can post now really is hard. I mean, how many people are posting pictures? How many of those kind of social media fanatics are just posting pictures of themselves in their house every day? Maybe they are because they bought the green screen and they bought the lights, and they built like a makeshift wooden wall in their room so they can post pictures in front of that every day. But probably not as much, right? And so we're all struggling with control. And let me just share with all of you, guess what? You were never in control. You were never in control. God has always been in control. There's something about sovereignty that I think everyone hopefully is either waking up to, or hopefully this is a time where they're actually understanding and maybe even believing in what sovereignty is. When we say sovereignty, that God is sovereign, that basically means that God is in control of all things, has always been in control. And I think this becomes challenging because a lot of people say, well, how is God in control when things right now seem so out of whack? And this is where it's so important to go back to the scriptures and go back and maybe for the first time study the theology of God's sovereignty. Let me tell you something that might kind of begin your journey on trusting in God, or trusting that God is in control, or maybe beginning a journey of actually going and studying this. But COVID-19 has not been the first crisis, the first global crisis that our earth has ever experienced. It's not even the first crisis that people like me or even your parents have first experienced either. This is not the first time that we've been struggling through uh, something crazy like this. I'm not saying there's been a lot of different viruses and global pandemic viruses in the past, But there has been, right? Spanish flu in 1918. You got the Black Plague. Um, it wasn't as great, but it was still serious. We had MERS, we had swine flu, we had bird flu. There's so much that we have experienced, but people like me, some of you guys might be a little bit too young to have really connected with what happened because maybe you were in elementary school, but I was in college. 9/11, 9/11 was crazy. Some of you might have been too young to really understand how nuts 9/11 was. But think about our parents. They went through crazy times, whether it was uh, maybe World War II for some of our grandparents, or maybe it was the Vietnam War, Korean War, maybe coming from other countries that are even still experiencing famine and tragedy. Listen, COVID-19, okay, is terrible, but there's been terrible things that's been happening this entire time. What's up, Hanley? I see you, my brother. You and I, we got to connect soon, okay? We got to get that live interview going. I hope you're safe. I hope you're healthy. I mean, think about so many countries around the world that struggle even before this ever happened, whether it was COVID-19 or with mass militia and like governments that are corrupt. Things have been just really, really terrible for a lot of people long before COVID-19. And so let this be the beginning of your journey to understanding sovereignty, that COVID-19 is one of many terrible things that has happened. And, and, and God is in control because guess what? God never promised a perfect world. God never promised you that if you have faith in Him, everything's going to be good. In fact, go back to the Gospels, please. Read the Gospels. Jesus is very clear. He says things are going to get harder for you now. You follow me, it's going to get tough. Study any character from the Bible. What's up, Frank? Master Barista, I see you. James, what's up, my brother? I see you too, man. Study any character from the Bible, okay? All the characters, okay, lived very, very difficult lives. Almost every single apostle got martyred. John was exiled, okay? Um, People got beheaded, burned alive, all right? Moses, David, go to any of these guys. These guys, David, he was running away for his own life. David's own family was trying to kill him. All of these people, and they were followers of God. These are the people that we actually read about in our scriptures, have struggled with massive challenges and hardship in their life. God has always been in control. He never promised us a perfect world. He promised us a heaven, but guess what? This is not heaven on earth right now. It's a broken world. And God has been in control this entire time. And He told us this is a broken world. And so God is sovereign. He is in control. And when you feel this anxiety, because a lot of people are feeling this anxiety right now that they're not in control of things, they had a set schedule. Kids went to school, I went to work, gym time at 5 a.m., do laundry at 7 p.m., everything was kind of like the schedule. Now all that is out of whack. And this is a time now for you, as your anxiety is building up, to study the sovereignty of God, to go back into just trusting that God is in control, reading about it, learning about it, finding comfort and satisfaction in that. Don't find, and maybe this is a good wake-up call for you, don't find satisfaction in you being in control of your own schedule because you were never in control. And I think COVID-19 is a good wake-up call, especially for Gen Z. Especially for Gen Z. But again, I don't want to just target them. This is a good wake up call for all of us. I say especially Gen Z because they are a social media generation and they've never known life without social media. People like me, Gen Xers, we understood, millennials, we knew what life was like before social media. Esther, oh my goodness, hello. I hope you're safe. I hope you're healthy. One of my old elementary students who's in college now. I hope you're safe and hope you're healthy. But even people like Esther, she's Gen Z, they've only grew up with social media. So that's the only reason why I say especially, but this is for everyone. And I think this is a good wake-up call because we were so satisfied in our ability to project our best life on Facebook, on Instagram, on Snap, on LinkedIn, on TikTok, on Byte, on all these things. And now we don't get to really do that as much. We found satisfaction in an earthly identity. We found satisfaction in Instagram filters and Facebook filters and Adobe Lightroom and being able to just prove to everyone or show off. Really, I do think that's a big one. Show off our clothes and our makeup and our clean face without zits and pimples. And now that's being challenged. And that's what I say is good right now. That's a good thing that's happening. I think this is a really good, Chris Lim, I see you, man. I hope you're still rocking out the bass. I hope that many people right now are waking up because COVID-19 punched us in the face. It punched all of us in the face. And now we're going to see who is going to come out stronger from this and who's going to learn and be exposed of all of these kind of showing off and fronting an image that we were trying to keep up with the Joneses. All of us now are being exposed of that. And who's going to come out stronger from this? And this is a good wake-up call because I hope many of you are reflecting upon your own identity. And Jane, I see you. I hope your family's healthy. I hope many of you are reflecting on your own identity and really thinking about how you were maybe so satisfied in your own earthly identity. You were so satisfied in the followers you had on Instagram. And now a lot of that is in jeopardy, maybe. And a lot of that is now not in your control. And that's a good thing because control has always been in God's hands, and your identity should have always been in Christ. Your identity is not in the number of followers you have on YouTube, or number of subscribers you have on YouTube, or number of likes you get on Facebook. That is an earthly, that is a superficial level of control, and that is an extremely superficial image. And no, your identity was in Christ, should be in Christ, is always in Christ. Your satisfaction should be in Jesus. Your void should be fulfilled by Jesus. Your thirst and hunger should always be quenched by Jesus. And this is the wake-up call that I hope that many of you are realizing or reflecting upon. This is the punch in the face that I think is good, especially for Gen Z, to realize that their kind of center of life should have never been in Instagram. It should have always been in Jesus. And for the larger group who is feeling grief or feeling anxiety because you're not in control. Schedule is different every day. You're trying to do homeschool with your kids, for those of you who have kids, and do work at the same time. I was just talking to my friend Johnny. He's the high school pastor at our church. We were both talking about how, like, the day is draining, not because we're doing all this ministry and church work, but it's because there's no break. There's no break in the day. When you finish a project with church, you got to take care of your kids. This is raising anxiety for everyone, and for those of you who are in that state, and you're in that kind of status and mindset, find comfort and satisfaction in Jesus. This is a good wake-up call for you too. You were never in control. God's always been in control. There's been plenty of global pandemic viruses in the past. There's been plenty of global crises in the past. There's been plenty of terrible, terrible things that have been happening and still happening right now during COVID-19. Imagine some of those countries out there right now who are struggling with COVID-19 and famine at the same time. And that it's a terrible thing. But we don't question the sovereignty of God just because we are experiencing COVID-19. God has always been sovereign, and there's been plenty of bad things going on in this world. And this is a broken world. And Jesus is trying to redeem you from this broken world into his spiritual sphere of forgiveness and new life, awaiting the perfect life in heaven. But that's not right now. That's not right now. So again, I said this already, but here's a good example. Go study the characters of the Bible. I mean, seriously, read the Psalms right now. The Psalms is probably one of the best books right now to really help you in your emotional distress, because you need to really understand some of the wild trials and struggles that David and some of these authors were experiencing as they're writing the psalm. And the reason why you're reading it is because you're not trying to compare COVID-19 to David's struggle. No, you're reading it because read how the author resolves his emotional distress, resolve the struggle and trial that they are experiencing, because they resolve it within the psalm. It is a prayer to the Lord, and it provides us answers, and it provides us specific ways to meditate so that it can lower stress, lower anxiety, and bring us back into the sphere of God's sovereignty. And so I think this is a good thing. I think this is a good thing that people realize that you were never in control. I think this is a good thing that a lot of people, that life has punched them in the face, and now they need to wake up to a lot of the superficial things that they found satisfaction in. And I think this is a good thing, because those who were just social media fanatics, the idolatry of social media should die. It doesn't mean you should get rid of it, but some of you, social media was your idol. And I'm glad this is kind of punching you in the face, because it should have never been an idol. And control was probably an idol in a lot of our lives. And this is a good thing, again, because hopefully you're realizing and beginning a journey to believing and understanding that you were never in control. And if anyone is watching who has children in junior high and high school and college, or if anyone is a pastor or a leader with junior high school and college, this is something that you got to be talking with your students and with your children, because they are really struggling with this. They're struggling with control. They have never experienced anything like this in their life. We have never experienced anything like this in our life. But again, with more seasoned people or older people, we might have a little bit of a better handle on how to deal with this. For a high school student, for a junior high student, it might be really tough with them. So please begin a journey of talking about sovereignty or control, or begin a journey of talking about how this is how to deal with this right now. And just to be sensitive and gentle, don't dismiss their emotions. That's the last thing you want to do. What's up, Jerome? I see you, my brother. I hope you're safe. I hope you're healthy. Don't dismiss people who are struggling with this. You never want to do that. Be sensitive. Acknowledge their emotional pain. Acknowledge their loneliness, especially. Acknowledge their isolation. You might think it's silly, because they loved going out every day, taking pictures on Instagram of themselves, and now they can't, and now they're feeling depressed. You might think that's silly, but it's a real struggle for them. And this is a time to acknowledge that emotional pain, but don't just rebuke them. Don't just rebuke them and tell them that they're silly and immature. That's the last thing you want to do. Lead them and guide them to answers and resolutions and resolve. This is why everyone loves Simon Sinek, because he doesn't just blame millennials. He's actually helping millennials and guiding them to actually deal with some of the issues and struggles that the millennial generation experience. And I encourage you to do that as well. And so one of the biggest problems right now that we're all experiencing is control. We're not in control. You were never in control. Social media, it has now kind of um, been a kind of a pain point for a lot of people, for a lot of Gen Zers, because that's kind of like not the same anymore. They can't really go out and do a lot of the same stuff. So please talk about these things. Please counsel your students, or please talk about it with your children. If you're pastors, please meet through with a Zoom or a Skype with some of your students and help them with these things. And for anyone else, especially adults, begin a journey of finding satisfaction and resolving your anxiety with studying the sovereignty of God and trusting in God. You see, trusting in God is really easy when the paycheck is coming in and you're able to order Domino's pizza anytime you want and go to Costco and not be in fear that there's no toilet paper or paper towels. Trust is easy when it's like that. Trust is real when you can still have peace in God and peace during times of tension. So, right now, we're really separating um, the 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 ones who have strong faith in the Lord and the ones who have weak faith in the Lord. And for those of you who are struggling and you have weak faith, please connect with your pastors, connect with people, connect with your small group, and find assistance. We are here to help you. We're here to guide you and help others do that. Talk with your small group members, talk with your friends, and just see how they're doing. You know, again, this social media life, we all love to front. We love to front an image. We're not going to post on social media, I'm depressed right now. That's not what you do on social media, right? You just want to say that you're great, you're doing well, and look, I just lost 5 more pounds. So call people up. Let's help each other out. We're better together, and life has punched all of us in the mouth, and it's a good thing. It's a good wake-up call. Let's come out stronger from this. Let's come out stronger. I believe we can. Thanks for watching, guys. Hey, I'm going to try to be here tomorrow, 12 p.m. For those of you who are watching on Facebook, connect with me on YouTube. I got a YouTube channel called youtube.com/PJS Center. PJS Center. I have some creative content on there. Would love to connect with you there. And would love for you guys to subscribe if you guys are down with that thing. Or if you're watching on YouTube right now, hopefully you guys can hit that like button if you guys enjoyed this. Let me know what are some other things you want me to talk about and go through and cover, and I'll try to bring that in. And again, I hope that you guys are all safe and healthy. See you guys later. Bye.